Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the Getting Started with Bold Trail session. My name is Kelly Bojarsky. I am the Director of Training Systems here at Inside Real Estate. And my colleague and wonderful, amazing friend, Delaney, is standing by in the chat to answer any questions that you have. She's freeing up my time so that I can bring you the Getting Started with Bold Trail training presentation. This is a training series as part of your CRM of choice training. And so today we're going to be starting we're going to start with the basics. And before I do any type of training session, I always like to kind of lay the expectations out, and that way you'll understand what our objectives are. Because by the end of the session today, I really want you to understand a couple of things. One of them is in Bold Trail, understanding what the client journey is and how that works when you're managing your contacts is extremely vital so that you can be set up for success. So when we talk about the client journey, we're going to be talking a little bit more about that consumer sales funnel. I'm going to show you how they work together. I also want you to understand how contacts are organized so that you can start managing your Bold Trail CRM right out of the gate. All right, now this is not a full overview of every bell and whistle that's in the platform. Bold Trail has a lot of features, a lot of components, including an IDX-powered website, including a CRM, full lead generation tools. We're gonna, we certainly can't cram all of that into a 1-hour session. So we're gonna start with the basics today. And this is a great place to go to start to learn how to implement some daily best practices using the platform. All right. So let's just level set right there. We're going to start with the basics. And also, of course, if you have a hankering for learning more about the platform, don't worry. We have all sorts of additional training sessions available directly from your Bold Trail platform, as well as in our interactive webinars. All right. So as we talked about, the client journey is really relevant, especially in Bold Trail, because if you've been in real estate for even a hot minute, you understand, or you should understand, how the sales funnel really impacts how you're going to work your book of business. Because remember, not every single person that comes into your database is going to be ready to buy or sell the minute they come to your data, and are added to your database or log into your website. So what that means in Bold Trail is in this sales funnel, I've kind of narrowed it down. There's probably a lot of sales funnels that are out there, but I've narrowed it down to these 4 basic steps: awareness, consideration, decision, and loyalty. So if we talk about those top of funnel leads, those are those consumers who are literally just dipping their toe in the market, right? Or maybe they've been in it and we just don't know really where they are further in the funnel. So these are people that are usually new leads in the platform that are starting to get to know you and your brand. People who start to move through the funnel and enter that consideration phase, I like to think of this as kind of the search and research phase. These are leads that are browsing listings, they're comparing agents and exploring all of their options. Those folks that have trickled down into the decision-making stage, those are leads who are ready to choose an agent and move forward with the transaction. Those are the people, those are those hot leads, right? So as you can see here, the goal is to get leads through the funnel as quickly as possible, or meet them where they are in the funnel so that your outreach and your communication matches where they are in the sales funnel. Because the entire goal is to get them into the loyalty stage. Why is that? Because that occurs post-transaction, right? The goal is to keep them engaged and build loyalty while they're in this section of the funnel, because you want to get referrals from them, testimonials, create a fandom, if you will, of your contacts that will provide future lead generation for you through the source of referrals, right? So what does that mean in Bold Trail? Well, those top of the funnel leads, these are those folks that are probably a little bit farther out in their journey, because these are the people that are typically coming in as online leads. Maybe you've got pay-per-click ads running. Maybe you've used our landing page builder, our squeeze page builders. You're using content from your website that you've created, custom pages in combination with any of these. But these are those leads that are visiting your website for the first time. In Bold Trail, those are known as new leads as well as prospects. So those two statuses, new leads and prospects, are typically leads that are higher up in the funnel, right? You probably have not converted those people yet. The people that are moving farther through the funnel are in the consideration stage, and these are those folks that are evaluating their options. Remember, I said these are those folks in the search and research stage. And on average, the time spent in any one of these stages can vary, but expect them to be in this stage for maybe 2 to 3 months. And this is also the stage where they should be getting pursuing things like pre-approval with their lender if they're looking for financing options, if they're a buyer. And for sellers, these are those folks that are cleaning out the garage. They're getting ready to list their property. They're researching the home values. They're checking for market report updates to see what the values are in their area. They're making repairs and they're interviewing agents, right? So they can also be in this time frame for a couple of months. Now, in BoldTrail, we're going to add not only new leads and prospects could be in this stage, but also active leads, because those are the leads that are starting to actively reach out to you and engage with you. The decision-making stage in BoldTrail, now what happens here is these are those folks that are starting to act. They're making decisions, they're writing offers, they are selecting their, they're getting listing agreements signed, and they are ready to move forward, right? This is the stage where things really start happening. This is where you've taken over all of that automated communication, things like smart campaigns. You're sending out personal emails to them. You are engaging with them on a much more one-on-one basis. So in BoldTrail, those leads are in contract or client stages. That's the status you'll find them in. And again, because there's a place for everybody and everybody should be in your book of business in BoldTrail, because honestly, you don't know where your next deal is going to come from. And those folks that you're building out loyalty with, those are the people that you are wanting to communicate with to create loyalty and make an investment in your future business, right? So the people that are in this stage of the client journey are usually folks that are in your sphere or in your closed. Maybe your past clients are in closed and you're using closed status for this. Okay, so that's really how important that sales funnel is and how it correlates with BoldTrail. Now let's just move into BoldTrail a little bit deeper, because there are 4 basic categories that every new user needs to understand in the platform. And this is really important because a lot of the automations that are triggered, things like smart campaigns, search alerts that go out, market reports, a lot of those can be triggered using one of these categories. So there's status, deal type, hashtag, and source. Let's break it down and go through each one on an individual basis. Now, I already showed you the sales funnel and introduced you to each one of those statuses. Let's take a look at it in the platform and see how this actually works in the client journey. So on a contact record, right there at the very top, along where the timeline is, you'll see their client journey. And this is the status that indicates really what that contact's intent is to do business with you. So there's some basic categories that are here, including sphere, prospect, new lead, active lead, client, contract, and closed. I already showed you those in the sales funnel. Let's look at it on the client journey. People in your sphere, think this is the easiest one. Think of these as your friends and family, right? These are the people that know you. They trust you. They know your brand. They know who you are. You know them. These are the people that are most likely those folks in that loyalty phase, because not necessarily decided to do business with you necessarily, but it could include everybody you know, all right? People that are in the prospect stage, I like to think of these are potential customers. They're prospective customers that you have not yet converted, but they fit your target market. They are also people like maybe investors, people that are like, hey, I'm always looking for a good fixer-upper. Please send me any listings that might give me an opportunity to do business with you. That's a prospect, right? And those leads that come in through your platform that are new leads, these are those leads that honestly, these are just people you have not met yet, right? They're at the very top of the funnel. These are the folks that you have the least amount of information about, and it's your job to speed to lead with them. And when I say speed to lead, that's a very industry accepted standard that implies that it's your responsibility as an agent to reach out and connect with them. And studies have shown and statistics show that the agent that communicates or connects with a new lead first typically has the best chance of converting that lead and doing business with them. So anytime that you have a new lead in the platform, your job is to reach out to them, to start engaging with them, and to really ask them those qualifying questions that's going to help you determine really truly where they are in the sales funnel or this client journey. Okay. They can come in from third-party lead sources. You can connect just about everything into your BoldTrail account, your Zillow leads, your Realtor.com leads. Maybe you've got a marketing person that's running Facebook ads for you. Maybe you're using our lead generation marketplace add-ons. We have those as well. If you want to turn it over to the experts, our marketplace can help you with that, because we have all sorts of add-ons that you can use where we'll generate leads for you. Or maybe you're running your own and you are consistently posting out onto social media and you are generating new leads on your own. These are the people that you will see come in as a new lead. Speed to lead them. Active leads are those folks that are returning back to your website on a regular basis. These are the people that are starting to engage with you. And I like to point out this stage because one of the greatest tools that's built into the BoldTrail platform is kind of the intuitiveness of what we call behavioral automation. And what that is you can even see a status shift occur. If you have leads that are in your prospect or your new lead status, and they start engaging with you through your website, they start showing signs of intent, like maybe they have revisited your website after being away for 14 days or more. Maybe they've saved 5 or more properties in the last week. Those are big signs, right? Those are intuitive signs for you. And if I have the time or bandwidth to follow all these people around on my websites to see those trends, I absolutely would. But since I don't, it's nice to know that BoldTrail is doing it for me and is using behavioral automation to outreach. So what will happen is you have a feature in here that allows any leads that have started exemplifying some of these signs, that if they're in prospect and new lead, remember those are the speed to lead categories, right? New leads. If they start doing those, the system will send out an outreach, either a text or an email, and a shift status will occur, which means the system may automatically move them over to active lead for you. Now it's moving them through the pipeline, and it's turning off maybe the automations like a new lead smart campaign that was set up just for new leads. And maybe it's moved them over to a new smart campaign that's designed just for your active leads. So there's automations that are going on in the background while you're out busy selling homes, showing homes, getting listing appointments, doing things that the computer will never do. The system is now working for you. So it's a very, very important feature that's built in that's helping you nurture your leads along, okay? So those are active leads. Now, the client status, once you've converted them, you've gotten them to sign on the bottom line, they are, you've secured their business. They're actually working with you. You don't need as many automations going out, right? You don't need a smart campaign that's designed to outreach with emails and text messages. Now, you might want a smart campaign that's just designed for your clients. That's not a problem. You can build those as well. But usually when they're in the client status, that's the stage where you're working with them one-on-one. So think of the automations that start dialing down as they move through this client journey, right? That has to do with those automations. These are people that you're working with that you've already converted. And then contract is for those leads who are buying or selling that have actually entered into in the transaction phase, right? And this is really helpful if you've got like a third-party back-end transaction management system connected, okay? And then, of course, our goal is to get them to the finish line, right? We want to close a deal with them. So these are people who've completed a transaction, all right? So you may have leads that live there forever, or maybe you decide you want to move them over to Sphere. Maybe you even want a smart campaign that does it for you automatically. You can do that with BoldTrail. So those are the statuses. Now, there's 2 other kind of hidden statuses that we have as well that are important to know. Not often will you use them. Let's rewind that. You won't use them as often. How's that? But you still need to know about them. One of them is archive. And archive is, I like to think of archived as kind of like the attic of my BoldTrail platform. That's where I stick my Christmas lights and my old all of the things that I don't really want to see in my house. I stick them up in the attic, right? Well, it's the same thing, the same concept in BoldTrail. You can actually archive your contacts. Why would you do that? Well, maybe somebody told you to go pound sand. Take me off your list. Don't ever reach out to me again. I never want to buy or sell property ever, period. Right? Has that ever happened? Maybe. If that happens, you can always archive them. Why would you do that rather than just deleting them out of your system? Here's why. Because if you delete a contact, which you can do, there is no undo button. It's going to delete everything, including the history, the information, everything that has been built out around that contact record gets deleted. But if you archive them, here's the beauty of archiving. If you archive them, it literally just unsubscribes them from everything and sticks them up in the attic. But if they start coming back to your website and they resubscribe and they start engaging with you again, those behavioral automations that I mentioned, guess what? They will actually take somebody out of archived and move them over to active for you. How cool is that? So, got to know those. Now, the second category is deal type. Deal type is important because not every deal is the same type of deal, right? You might have new leads that are looking to buy a house. You might have a new lead that's looking to sell a house. So deal type helps you differentiate those. And as I told you, the status of a deal type, a contact can only be in one status at a time. They can only be in one new lead. They can only be in an active lead status. They can't be in more than one at the same time. But who doesn't want a double-end deal, right? I do, right? I want to have the opportunity to help my client sell their new house before they buy their forever home, right? I want both those transactions. So I want to be able to have that flexibility to create those deal types, because maybe I actually even have a smart campaign that's specifically designed for both buyers and sellers. I now can manage that because I've got the category to associate them with. And because we know that your next deal may come from anywhere, including maybe vendors that you work with, you have a place for them now in your book of business that allows you to communicate with them individually, which is why you should be adding all of your vendors. Remember, you send out a lot of business in any real estate transaction. I don't know any real estate agent that doesn't refer out at least 2 to 3 different type of vendors in every single transaction, whether it's, to a handyman, a plumber, an electrician, a gardener, landscaper, staging and design, title escrow, all of those people, right? Those are people that have a whole sphere of influence of their own that could potentially be referring to you for business. And if I don't have those people in my database so that I can outreach to them, maybe send them a mass email once a month saying, hey, I'm just checking in on your business to see if you've been getting those referrals. Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? I hope you think of me. That's called reciprocity, my friends. You should be adding those people into your book of business. You should add agents that you work with, right? You can have, especially if you're a team leader. If you're a team leader and you are trying to recruit people onto your team, you can use all of the same features, including, landing pages or smart campaigns to outreach and nurture those leads that you're trying to recruit that happen to be other agents. Or maybe you're an agent that just has a whole list of really fantastic colleagues out there in your area that you'd love to do a deal with, and you want to send them your new listing announcements. Put them in your database. There's a place for everybody, and a deal can come from anywhere. Now, the next category, which is one of my favorites, is the hashtag category. And in your BoldTrail platform, there may be times where you want to group your leads based on maybe just things that are important to you, maybe based on properties that they're looking for, the types of properties or the price range, or maybe this person happens to need something like credit repair. Maybe you want to just keep a list of everybody on your newsletter list. This is where hashtags can help you group your leads based on really anything you want, because it becomes a searchable property value in your contacts, in your book of business. You can create a filter around these hashtags. And the beauty of hashtags is you can add as many as you like to any contact record at all. You could have patio furniture here. He's in, Patty's in 6 different hashtag groups. You can have as many as you want. Now, I don't know if I'd need like 30 or 40 on each contact record, but you could, right? So this allows you to create your own category that is meaningful to how you work your book of business. And in BoldTrail, when you start to see how it becomes kind of that magic bullet in BoldTrail, it can be used to trigger certain things. You can create a hashtag that when added to a contact triggers a smart campaign, a very specific smart campaign. You can use a hashtag that when added to a contact triggers a search alert to go out with a group of properties. You can use it to send out a scheduled mass email that when you set it up and schedule a mass email to go out to everybody, maybe on your newsletter list, it sends that email out to anybody with that hashtag added. So some really great examples of hashtag are a few that I've noted here. These are things like first-time home buyer, needs credit repair, agent referral, pool home buyer. You know, I had one person tell me one time, they're like, Kelly, I totally get the status, understand that, got it. I understand the deal type, makes sense, buyer, seller, renter, vendor, agent. But here's the thing. This is how I work my leads. I've been in this business for a long time, and I have two categories. They're either hot or they're cold. That's it. No problem. What I told them to do, start using a hashtag. Either use hot lead, cold lead, whatever you want to do. And now you can manage and find that list based on how you work your book of business. All right. So BoldTrail is this ecosystem that works within the parameters of your own workflow systems. That's the beauty of it, because it's got such extensive technology built into it as well. All right. A couple of little logistical things about them is that hashtags are not cap sensitive, meaning you don't have to worry about uppercase or lowercase, but they are all one word. So I'm a little bit on the OCD side where I need to be very specific about my hashtags. So I use that little underscore tool when I'm creating my hashtags. That way it looks more like a sentence and I'm able to kind of group them, but you can do that or not. And you have to use that old-fashioned pound sign, you know, the little pound sign when you're creating them. You literally just type in the word and it'll create a hashtag for you on the contact record. So it's also something you can do in bulk. So in the contact record itself, you can go in and you can add a hashtag in bulk. I'll show you how to do that in a minute in my demo dashboard. So the fourth and final category is called source. And so who doesn't want to know where their leads come from, right? So you can use the information that's stored on the contact record to be able to identify where and when those leads came in. And it's going to showcase in the summary section under source or system source. Now, don't get too tripped up on the difference between source and system source. Honestly, it's pretty easy to decipher. As you can see here, the system source is, hey, this person came in on August 11th, 2021, through the agent website, and they were generated through the source of my PPC, pay-per-click marketing. So they came into my agent website as a result of pay-per-click marketing. That's just what the system told me. Now, if for you advanced users out there that use things like Zapier, you can actually build hashtags in to group those leads. So if you want to add that as well, you can build in you could add your source as a hashtag if you wanted to do something like that. But at the end of the day, it's nice to know that the system is tracking this as well. And source is also something that you can use as a team leader. If you're running a team and you're using our team add-on, maybe you want to create a lead routing rule that that sends all of your, maybe Zillow leads, because they come from the Zillow source, to a specific agent or group of agents. That's going to be really helpful when you're setting up lead routing rules. All right, so let's go in and take a quick peek at the contact record, because the contact record is really, the individual lead contact details, right? It has everything you need to know about those contacts, and it's broken into a few different pages. Now, it's always going to default to our timeline page. And this is where historically you can see just about every single thing that has ever happened to, been sent out by the system, emailed, texted, properties viewed. Everything is going to show up in the timeline of the contact record. And it's broken down into some very basic components. You've got everything that is information stored about the contact right here on the left-hand side of the timeline. You've got the right-hand side of the timeline where everything that you can take action on is stored. That client journey is right there at the top. And of course, the timeline that stores all those historical details in chronological order is right there. So things like your deal types, your hashtags, that source information, all of that is broken down into the contact details on the left-hand side. Now, I like to pause and share a little bit about some of the predictive scoring tools that are built into the platform, because again, we're trying to take a lot of the heavy lift off of you and give you as much insight as we can. So we have this predictive scoring tool, and you'll see here that it's this 5-star scoring tool that will give a predictive analysis based on the interesting things that your leads do. So for example, if a lead comes in and signs in and gives you valid information and they look at a whole slew of properties, you might see a higher score rating than somebody who comes in and maybe it's a bad email, no phone number, never looked at properties and bounced. You might see a 1-star rated lead for that. The cool thing about the predictive scoring tool is that it actually changes over time. So if you leave it alone, kind of just let it do its thing, you'll see those star ratings change over time based on the intent of your contacts. One thing to note about the star rating tool, though, is that if you decide to override it and assign your own star rating to it, which you can, maybe you've had a conversation with this lead here, Billy Madison, and it turns out that they're ready to buy a house right now. They've got cash in the bank and they're ready to buy. That's a really fantastic lead. And they're like, Kelly, come over and let's start looking at properties. To me, that's a 5-star rated lead. If I override this and add the 5th star to it, the system reads that as, oh, Kelly's taken over. She wants to control this, and it will no longer automatically update for you. So just keep that in mind if you're using the predictive star rating tool. And the information that's stored in the middle of the timeline, that's in chronological order. That's pretty much anything and everything that's ever happened to that contact. You will be able to find the communication sent to and from the contact, calls, texts, appointments, notes, tasks, even system information is showed in there. You'll also see the properties they viewed right there on the timeline. So it's a great way to historically store all the details. Now, I'll give you a little pro tip just for being here today. When you add a note, you can even, those notes that show up here in the timeline, remember, because it's chronological, that timeline gets really long. It's like a social media feed. It goes on and on and on and on. My advice to you is that if you have a note that has meaningful information in it, pin it to the top. That way it won't get lost in the sauce in your timeline, and you'll be able to reference it as you need to throughout the next time you go to contact them. So perfect example of that would be, let's say I called Billy Madison for the first time, got him on the phone, had a great conversation with him. Turns out he's got, money in the bank to go buy his new forever home, and he would love to use me, but he's going through a nasty divorce. So he's probably not ready to buy right now. But I will probably want to nurture him along a little bit longer. All right. He's not quite ready to pull the trigger. So he's a little bit higher up in that sales funnel. But in that conversation, he gave me a lot of really valuable information. So when I go to add a note, I'm going to add details like going through divorce, ready to move in 6 to 8 months, maybe have personal details, the name of his spouse, his kids, his dog, whatever is important to you, add it to that note and then pin it right to the top. And that way it'll stay right there. So the next time I go to log in, it's going to be right there and accessible for me in that timeline. Now on the right-hand side, this is where you're going to engage by action. So there's a lot of things that you want to set up on behalf of your contacts, things like scheduling appointments, maybe sending them an email, sending a text message, anything that you're going to take an action on. You're going to look on the right-hand side. You're going to set up search alerts individually, market reports, seller listing evaluation, seller reports, listing valuations. All of those things can be set up, those actions and automations on the right-hand side. Remember, you can do a few things in bulk as well from the contact record. You can set up, you can add hashtags in bulk to more than one contact at a time. But we're talking about individually on the contact record. So I've gone through quite a bit in a short amount of time, but if there's anything that you walk away from here is that your BoldTrail CRM is your book of business, all right? And so if it's not in BoldTrail, it's not in your business. There's a place for everybody. It's about setting them up and organizing them so that you can manage their outreach effectively so that you can convert more leads. And really, there's a pretty simple formula for success when you're using our platform. And one, it's going to be adding your book of business. So we know that leads probably right now live in a lot of different places. So if you have contacts in your phone, you're going to want to either sync them using the Google or Outlook email sync and get those contacts synced right over. Maybe you want to import a whole list of your past clients, or you're transferring from another system and you want to import them. You can use our lead import tool to do that. So if you're looking at it from good, better, best, the good thing, to start out, I would suggest that you add a contact manually. Better yet, sync your contacts from Google or Outlook. The better use of BoldTrail is to use that bulk import feature and let us handle it. I mean, you can import them yourself if you want. There's step-by-step instructions on how to import them yourself. But we have a whole team of lead configuration people in our lead configuration department. That's all they do every day is import contacts for you. And it's my favorite price tag. It's free and included with the price of your technology stack here at BoldTrail. It comes with your BoldTrail platform. So you can import as many different lists as you want. It doesn't have to be one and done. Maybe you start by importing all of your past clients. Then you work towards adding all of your vendors. Then you work towards adding all of your favorite agents. That would be a better use of adding your book of business. Now, we also have some tools in the platform. I like to think of them as easy buttons. And to me, this is the best way to leverage the platform, is to use the gather and work your sphere playbooks, or use lead Dropbox to add those and connect those third-party lead sources like Zillow, Realtor.com, email forwarding. There's tools in there that you can use so that you can set up an automated systematic approach to adding those leads, so that you don't, nobody's got time to be adding manual leads one at a time. You need to set up a system so that they auto flow in here. And then the second part of this recipe for success is to pair those newly added contacts with some of BoldTrail's automations. So if you're just getting started, a good way to start would be let BoldTrail do the work and with the default automations. And what I mean by that is that when a new lead comes to your website, let's say that they just Googled you and found you on Google, and it landed them onto your website and they signed up and became a new lead. Well, guess what happens? Some automations can be triggered. So things like, maybe this lead was looking at properties on your website. Well, the system's going to set up automated search alerts based on their search parameters. If you've got those smart campaigns enabled, which you should by default, the new lead buyer campaigns are turned on for you, they will start to get smart campaigns set up. Maybe you want to set them up on market reports so that they start getting area information about areas they're considering to move into. You want to set up search alerts. You can do that. As I said, those will be automatically set up for you if they come into your platform as a new lead. A better use of pairing those BoldTrail automations is to take time to review in the contact record what's already been set up and maybe customize some of that key messaging. So maybe you want to take time to customize some of the smart campaigns or emails or text messages that are in those behavioral automations that I told you about. Remember, I told you, if the lead does something interesting on your website, like revisits after being away for 14 days, the system will automatically send them a text message. We try to send it by text. If we don't have a valid phone number, then we'll send it by the email address we've got. But maybe you want to personalize or customize that so it sounds a little bit more personalized with messaging that you've created. You can do that. And really, the best way to leverage the entire BoldTrail ecosystem is to master some of the advanced automations and create a layered marketing system that works for you. And what I mean by that is, even though there's tools that are built in, like smart campaigns that can be automated, great, no problem. Turn them on, let BoldTrail do its thing. When they're ready to talk to me, I'm ready to talk to them. But if I wanted to create a complete system, a systematic approach that is tailored to my marketing niche, my real estate marketing area of expertise, I want to create an entire marketing plan around that, which means I want to create a custom smart campaign. I want to use a lead generation tool like a landing page to generate and target those types of leads for my niche. I want to use the listings that are in my platform that are pulling from my IDX feed to stay top of mind and set up targeted search results for folks. I'm going to use that to create a seamless marketing system that works in my business. So that's really the best way to pair that up, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to give you the most success. And to use BoldTrail to its best and highest use is really understanding that you have to have contacts in your book of business. So they need to be added. All right, I've done enough talking. Let's jump into the platform and take a look around. So I'm here on my BoldTrail dashboard. Now mine probably looks very similar to yours, but maybe there's some things on here that you don't see on yours right away. Things like activity in this activity stream right here. So I've got my demo dashboard set up with Patio Furniture, who asked a question 2 months ago. That tile shows up in my activity stream so that I have immediate information and access to those interesting things that my leads are doing or are conducting behaviors based on their activity on my website. So if they're asking questions, if they're searching at properties, I have access to that right here on this activity stream. All right. So this is a great place to go for some initial wins. And I'll give you an example of how you can leverage this. Now, we already know and can identify our contacts here because their names are right up here. A little fun fact, anytime you see a name somewhere and it highlights it with an, it allows you to click on it, and it'll open up that contact record. So remember, we walked through this already. We walked through the client journey, so I can easily read and understand information such as my contact, Patio Furniture, is in the prospect stage. I can take a look to see what automations are enabled for them, including, oh, look, there's some smart campaigns set up. There's market reports that are going out to this contact. I even have listing valuations set up for their property. So this person is already getting some great automations. And as you can see here, I have access into the timeline where I can get a bird's eye view into what Patio Furniture has been doing. So for example, this recent properties that were sent out through a property search alert, I can see, because this little envelope is opened, the date and time that Patio Furniture took a look at that that email that I sent them. If I want to see what the email says, I can simply click on view and it will open up the exact email that was sent out to my contact. So now I have everything that I need right at a glance, including those pinned notes that I told you about. I've got a couple of pinned notes that have information about that contact stored right here at the top of the contact record. So I don't have to go scrambling or searching for all of the details. Everything that is meaningful to me was added as a custom note. I can always unpin them and manage them myself by using the edit, unpin, or delete tool from here. I can even look forward in the future to see what is scheduled to go out to my contact by showing any future touch points. So if I wanted to see what is the next step in that smart campaign to see what's going out, I can see here that there's a holiday post scheduled to go out on January 2nd. Maybe I want to delete that. Maybe that's not something I want to include in this. I can easily just remove it right here without really adjusting the entire smart campaign itself. Lots of things that you can do and access directly from these contact records. There's that information side over on the left-hand side that allows me to see their personal information. I can see the hashtags that were added. I can add a new hashtag. Maybe I had a conversation with Patio Furniture and he said, oh, Kelly, you know what? I've come upon hard times. My credit score dropped. I need credit repair. Well, I can create a new hashtag from here or add them to an existing list. And I believe I have one in here that's called needs credit repair. Let's see what we've got here. There's one, needs credit repair. So I can simply add him to my existing list of needs credit repair. And this is important because, remember I told you, this is now where I can leverage a hashtag to organize my leads into groups so that I can find them and maybe outreach to them. Maybe I've got a credit a credit repair person that I work with, like my lender. My lender does this great seminar that he puts on twice a year for people that needs credit repair. I want to share that information with my contacts all at once. Well, I can do that leveraging a hashtag. So if I go into my contact section right here, and then I use the filters that are available in the contact record, now I can just simply start organizing, and I can narrow down the list of people I'm looking for. So maybe I'm looking for all those leads that needs credit repair. There they are. And I can simply sort them. Let's see what kind of people show up on this list. Hopefully patio furniture will be there. And I can I need to narrow, there he is, there's patio furniture. And I can simply select the folks that are on this first page, or I can select individually. Maybe I just want to invite Lisa Marie, Sean, patio furniture, and Lynn to my credit repair seminar. I can use the mass features like mass emailing or mass texting, and I can send out a quick message, either send it myself by crafting the message right here. Better yet, maybe I want to use a custom prompt with our smart assistant that invites them. Please write a text that, get this out of the way, that invites these people to my credit repair seminar on July 10th. And then I can let our chat GPT called Smart Assistant write the text message for me. Now, look how easy it was. And it even included merge tags, which is going to make it look really personalized for those contacts that are receiving this. So it's going to automatically insert their first name. I didn't have to do anything except use our Smart Assistant to send that out. Click send, and off it goes. So that's a really quick, fast, efficient way to leverage a group that you've used by creating a hashtag. So all of our training that we have that we provide, including our Agent Quick Start, we dive pretty deep into the platform. So I am going to pause and take a moment to show you on the platform how you can access that course. If you're looking for other information or other tutorials, I highly suggest starting with this Agent Quick Start course. It will allow you to take, it's about a 90-minute course. It's broken into 4 easy-to-use sections, and it dives really deep into all of the tools of our BoldTrail platform. If you'd rather attend one of our interactive webinars, check out what's available on the training calendar. The training calendar is where you can access our interactive webinars. So I'm over here on the West Coast, so I'm just simply going to go into my own time zone. And I'm going to look to see what's coming up in the next week or so. And as you can see here, we have all sorts of webinars that are available, including things like our BoldTrail orientation. Oh, maybe this is something that I'd like to register for. It's a quick 30-minute session that gives you another overview of the BoldTrail platform. Another great way for me to continue my education on the BoldTrail platform. So I have gone through quite a bit. But before we wrap up, I do want to remind you that BoldTrail is a very, very technology stacked platform that has a lot of tools and features in it. And we know that you're probably not going to learn it in a day. Hopefully you've learned some best practices, a couple of pro tips, and really some of the basic structural organization so you can start adding your contacts. But don't panic. If you have questions, we're always here for you. We have live support. You can email us, you can chat with us. That blue little chat bubble in your on your dashboard is always going to be your lifeline to support. You are always welcome to reach out to us, even if it's something as simple as like, hey, I just need to know how to import my contacts. Our support folks will help you. Now, since I happen to be here right now, let me jump in and show you where you can add contacts. Because remember that formula for success, it starts with understanding what a contact record is. So you can go into your platform and you can just manually add a contact one at a time. Personally, I think that you've got other things to do than add hundreds and hundreds of contacts. So I don't recommend doing this if you've got a big book of business, but maybe you want to add a test lead in here, somebody that you can kind of use as a random sampling. You can create your own test lead. If you're going to do that, let me just give you a pro tip here. Use somebody else's email information and their contact information, like their phone number and email. Use your spouse, your kids, significant other, somebody that wouldn't mind being helping you learn the platform. I use my kids all the time. I even have a junk email address that I just use specifically to send myself messages so that I can test out maybe smart campaign emails or just see what those search look like from the consumer point of view. I can start sending them to my test lead here. So you can always add a contact manually. You can also leverage our lead engine, and using the Omni search here at the top, I can learn how to import my contacts by simply using a keyword search that will pull me in, that will allow me to access the feature within the platform that allows me to execute that tool or that feature. So I love the Omni search. It is a great place to go and do keyword searching that's going to help you navigate throughout the entire platform. The top of the Omni search has all of the most recently accessed contacts, or allows you to search by keyword for those contacts. You can also access listings from your Omni search and those features that I told you about. So if I was going to be bulk importing contacts, I would just simply go into our lead engine. And this is where I would go to either do it myself. I'd probably watch this quick 5-minute video and then I'd get started uploading it myself. But if you remember what Kelly said from today's session, let us do it for you. You can submit your file over to us and we'll upload all of your contacts for you. You can even schedule a time right here to have a quick appointment with somebody in lead configuration if you want them to just take another peek at your spreadsheet, make sure that it's updated and ready to go. You can set up an appointment directly with them. If you are wanting to use the playbooks, remember I told you there's playbooks that are available as well. You can search using the Omni search for our playbooks. So in this case, let me scroll down here to those system playbooks. And this is where you can go to gather your sphere of influence. Remember, those are people that are in the loyalty phase. They're more likely to give you a referral or even a testimonial. And you can use this to gather your sphere, walk through this easy to use playbook. And then once they're uploaded and added and ready to go, use the second playbook to work your sphere of influence. Start reaching out with them. Start converting those sphere leads into clients by engaging them, connecting with them. Playbooks are easy to use, step-by-step, actionable plays that are built into individual playbooks that allows you to get to the, really what I like to think of as the meat and potatoes of BoldTrail. It lets you get right into the features and tools that are going to make the most impact right out of the gate. So there's a lot of support, a lot of help for you. If you want to continue on your journey to learn more, you can continue to come to our self-paced learning portal courses, attend an interactive webinar, reach out to support. We have an entire knowledge base that is chock full of articles and resources that will allow you to get to exactly what you're looking for to learn more about that component or feature. Those on-demand courses that I mentioned, such as the Agent Quick Start, those are available in our learning portal. And as you can see here, we have all sorts of quick starts that are going to help you, whether you're an admin, supporting agents, whether you're an agent getting started out on BoldTrail. Maybe you just want to get some daily best practices under your belt. We even have a course for that. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of every resource that we have, including our knowledge base and help center, as well as those interactive webinars, some of the self-paced courses we have. And of course, we are going to have exclusive trainings coming up in the near future. So stay tuned for that, because we will have exclusive EXP training sessions available just for you. Now, if I can close with anything, what I'd like to really share with you is the importance of adding your contacts. Get them imported, manually enter your entire book of business, import them using our import tool, connect your leads through our lead Dropbox tools, and then take some time to power them up with automations. Set up smart campaigns for them. Start sending out market reports or search alerts so that you stay top of mind. And then if you have existing contacts that you're seeing coming in, make sure that you're customizing those messages to make them sound and feel a little bit more like what your branding reflects. And so that can be done in like the email templates or the text templates or even those behavioral automations. Let me show you where those live before we close it out. I know we have a little bit of time left. So if I go into my dashboard, remember those behavioral automations that I mentioned, like, hey, if somebody revisits my website after being away for 14 days or more, those can be found either searching the Omni search, type in behavioral, or I happen to know that those are located in the marketing section. So along the left-hand side where all the navigation pages are stored, I'm just going to go right into marketing. And from here, I'm going to go down to behavioral automations, which is all the way at the bottom. And I'm going to get started with this. So this is where you can go and access all of the messages that are sent out, maybe preview them. So remember, I told you that behavior, if a lead revisits your website after being away for 14 days, guess what? We're going to send them a text message. Here's what the default is. Hey, first name. Remember, it's going to autofill their first name. Thanks for coming back. We missed you. Are you focused on any specific areas or property types? And then it's going to automatically pull in your first name, your email address. How cool is that? But maybe you want to add a little bit more. You can always edit them directly from here. And if we don't have a phone number for them or they're unsubscribed to getting text messages, we'll send them an email instead. So you can preview what that one says. So here's the email. I'm glad you were able to spend a bit of time on my site again. Looks like you're doing a few different home searches. I'll research areas and set up some property alerts to keep you top of the market. Anything specific you're looking for. Now remember, the one thing that all of these behavioral automation responses have in common is that they're short, they're real estate related, and they ask those open-ended questions to try to drive engagement. So I highly encourage you, pro tip number 2 of the day, is if you're going to make changes to these and you're going to edit them, that you stick to the short messaging tactic as well as creating open-ended questions. You want to use this as a tool to start engaging with them, to get them to start responding to you. And don't be surprised if they start responding and you see them move over to that active or new lead status, because remember that behavioral automation that's available to do that for you is right here in the behavioral alerts. And by default, we do turn on your active new lead prospect, and I believe your sphere is turned on by default. Here's my challenge to you. Go in here and turn on archived, because remember, if you have archive turned on, and if somebody who was maybe archived and unsubscribed to all of your emails and text messages, maybe they come back in and resubscribe. If they exhibit any one of these behaviors, wouldn't you want to know about it? And wouldn't you want to outreach to them? Absolutely. So you can turn this on. And then what will also happen is that if they start re-engaging with you, now the system recognizes that because they've taken them out of archived and they move them over to active lead for you. So pretty cool. Oh my goodness. I know that we've probably covered more than you bargained for in this session. Hopefully you've got a lot of your questions answered. Thank you to Delaney for managing that for me. If you haven't downloaded the mobile apps, don't forget, we do have mobile apps that are the companion pieces for BoldTrail as well. There's a mobile app designed specifically to work with your CRM, and there's a mobile app that you can use to for your next open house. We have both of those available. So from your BoldTrail platform, again, if you're logging in for the first time, you're going to land on the dashboard page. Right here in the upper right corner, there's a quick link. You can use the Omni search to download the mobile apps by typing in download mobile apps. And but you want to make sure that you download those so that you have immediate access to those apps right on your smart tablet or device. I recommend just texting yourself the link. So if you're an Apple user, text yourself the iOS link. If you're an Android user, make sure you're texting the Android link. And this will send you a text message to access immediately from the Apple, from the Play Store or from the App Store, the BoldTrail app. And we also have a open house app that you can download. You do the same thing, just text yourselves the links so that you can access and get those loaded right to your smart devices. That's a really, really great way to leverage those tools right from your while you're on the go. I want to thank you for attending today. We know that you have a lot of choices to make, and by choosing BoldTrail, your business is now powered by the highest and best state-of-the-art technology that's out there in the space. And this platform that's designed to help grow your business with the most powerful tools. Please take a moment to scan this QR code, complete the CRM of Choice survey. This is going to help the leadership team at eXp track the agent interest on these tools. And I want to thank you for your time today. If there's any other questions that you have, feel free to reach out to us at using that blue chat bubble. And that said, I think I'm going to wrap it up and give you time to hop off this webinar and go sell a house. Have a great day, everybody.